Tomorrow is World Refugee Day, and my guest tonight is the director and co-founder of the International Refugee Assistance Project, a group that has helped more than 200,000 refugees and displaced persons find legal pathways to safety. Please welcome Becca Heller. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's an honor to have you on this show, especially considering what your organization has done. Many people first saw your face and the organization when Trump's travel ban went into effect. We heard about all these lawyers who were rushing to the airport to try and help people, to give them legal assistance. You were leading that effort. Why was that so important for you to do?
I think we realized about halfway through the first week of the presidency that the executive order could come down any day. It actually leaked Monday, officially the third day of the presidency, but he had spent the first weekend golfing, so really the first day that business was done. And someone sent us a photo of a desktop computer in the White House with the text of the travel ban on it.
Wow.
And so we were calling on all our clients and we were saying, get on a plane, the doors to America are closing, we don't know when. And realized that it wasn't just going to affect our clients, but that at any given time when the executive order became law, there were going to be thousands of people in the sky who, when they took off, had legal permission to enter the US and then would land essentially as undocumented immigrants, and nobody knew what was going to happen to them. And lawyers, being the really self-important people that we are, I think we were like, well, obviously the solution to that is to get thousands of lawyers to show up at the airports and see if there's something we can do about it.
Yeah, it was the one time people were cheering for lawyers. I've never seen that before. It was a really beautiful initiative. It really was. What do you feel you wish people knew about refugees? Like, what is the biggest, misinformation that people have succumbed to?
I think that there's two dominant narratives of refugees that are both wildly inaccurate. I think one is that refugees are victims who are desperately in need of our help, and I think the other is that refugees are terrorists who are trying to kill all of us.
Right.
And I wish that what people knew about refugees is that they are some of the most tenacious survivors that I have ever met. It is just 100% a privilege to work with them. And I think if we're a country that wants entrepreneurs and patriots, there's nothing more entrepreneurial than escaping from Islamic State-occupied Mosul, getting across the border, going through this crazy refugee resettlement process, which takes years, getting your whole family to America and starting your whole life over. Like, the type of tenacity and grit and creativity that takes is something that I wish that I had. And the other thing is that a lot of the most patriotic people that I know are refugees.
Right.
In the lawsuits that we worked on following the Muslim ban, we would talk to our clients who were involved in the lawsuits, and the whole lawsuit is saying, oh, I'm really hurt because I'm being discriminated against, so you would think that it would make you really angry. But when we talked to a lot of our clients, they were like, no, this makes me love America even more. I lived under Bashar al-Assad for 3 decades, and now I live in a country where you can sue the president.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a different way to see it. That's a really different way to see it. When you look at the situation that is now being created at the border, this is the current issue where kids are being separated from their parents. You hear these anecdotes of parents being tricked or maybe not being informed about what's going to happen to their kids. Is there legal recourse that may come back to bite the United States?
Yeah, I mean, one way or the other, this policy is going to fold, right? Either the ACLU is going to win the litigation, or the GOP is going to grow a backbone, or the, great movement of people who came to the airports that's now going to the border will make it known that America won't stand for this. But I think at the end of the day, when this policy is over, the Trump administration is probably literally going to have to pay for it because, in my opinion, every single one of these parents and kids has a pretty good damages lawsuit to bring against the Trump administration for false imprisonment, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Sorry, let me try that again. For false imprisonment, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Oh my God. Yeah, thank you. I'm not going to try again because that'll make it too hard for the editor.
Oh, that's hilarious. Try it one more time. You should say it one more time.
Sorry. I think every single one of them will have a damages claim for false imprisonment, kidnapping, intentional infliction of emotional distress.
Right. As a fan of damages, that's
Damages are important. It's how you make people pay for doing up shit.
I can safely say I've never heard it put that way ever before. When we hear these stories of people being given scripts, you know, they say like, oh, these are not asylum seekers, they've got scripts. The kids are reading scripts at the border. What are people talking about, and what do we need to understand about what people need to say to actually become an asylum seeker legally in the US?
I mean, I think the first thing to understand is that that's complete bullshit. I think that, you know, the myth of the script is that refugees are coming or asylum seekers are coming and they're making up some story to try to fit the legal definition of an asylum seeker.
Right.
And, you know, number one, the asylum law and refugee law is so complicated. I've been doing it for 10 years and I mostly still don't get it. So the idea that an 8-year-old who's not a native English speaker and
right.
maybe comes from a country with a really low literacy rate has memorized some sort of script that highlights all of the key portions of asylum law in their
right,
testimony and then performs it adequately while they're being detained and separated from their parents is, you know, Machiavellian.
Right. If anything, those are the people you should welcome into the country. You should be like, wow, this is amazing.
No,
you learned international law and asylum. Yeah, you should come in. We need you.
Yeah,
That's what we need.
I mean, my organization will hire them.
Right. It really is one of those situations. For those who argue that the United States cannot handle any more people, the United States has taken in too many people. How do you respond to that? How does your organization respond to that type of criticism?
Well, I think there's a number of ways to respond. One, I think, goes back several hundred years and says if you think that your destiny is manifest such that you should control a 3,000-mile swath of territory, perhaps you have an obligation to take in a lot of people to that space, especially in light of all the people that you killed taking over that space.
Wow. Wow.
But then more immediately, I think usually that comes down to some kind of argument about jobs or the economy. And there's been a huge number of studies showing that refugees and immigrants are hugely beneficial to the economy. I have a personal favorite study, because I'm super nerdy, which is that in the second version of the Muslim ban, the Trump administration actually ordered itself to do a study on the net costs of refugees to the American people.
Right.
And the study done by the Trump administration found that over the past 10 years, refugees have netted $63 billion to the U.S. economy.
To the U.S. economy.
To the U.S. economy.
Well, that's how you got to talk to Trump.
Well, they then suppressed the study, and it was leaked to the New York Times 2 months later.
And there we are back again at the border. Well, I never thought I'd say this, but thank God for lawyers. Thank you very much for being on the show. To learn more about the work of the International Refugee Assistance Project, go to refugeerights.org. Becca Heller, everybody.